This week, episode 312 of Stogie Geeks, Drew and I interviewed Dan Davison. Dan is the sales manager at Queensbury Cigar and Pipe. His unique experiences in the industry include managing Rhode Island's oldest tobacconist, the Humidor Smoke Shop, to being the Northeast sales representative for Christoph Cigars. He's now over at Queensbury Cigar and Pipe. We are going to talk about the 2020 Tobacco Business Awards, what's been hot this year since after the show, IPCPR, Cigar Con, whatever, the big show, right, in the industry, and some industry trends. And then later on in this show, we're going to talk Sticks of the Week. Drew and I are going to tell you what we've been smoking. Episode 312 of Stogie Geek starts right now.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Confidence. Confidence isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air, thinking you're better than anyone else. It's walking into a room and not having to compare yourself to anyone in the first place.
Welcome to Stogie Geeks, episode 312. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. I am joined by my co-host, Drew, who is remotely out in Texas. Drew, what's up, buddy?
Hey, nothing much, Joe. How you been doing out there?
I'm doing good. I got the swivel chair today, so I'm like, I've been already swiveling in it. I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
It's super cool. We got a new.
Nice.
We've changed the setup a little bit over here. I'm sitting higher, kind of digging it. But anyway, we also are joined by Dan Davison out in Queensbury, New York. He is the sales manager for Queensbury Tobacco and Pipe. Dan, how you doing?
What's going on, Joe? Good to be back on Stogie Geeks.
I was going to say, you are no stranger to the Stogie Geek Show.
No, sir.
Thanks for jumping in. Dan had hit me up with an interesting topic. Wanted to take some time out to talk about the Tobacco Business Awards that are and some of the candidates that are up for nomination here in 2020. And I was like, that's super cool. You know what I mean? I have not covered that on my experience here on Stogie Geeks at all. So again, since 2017, I at least if I did, if someone emails me and says, oh yeah, episode 2 something you did, I apologize because I must have been really drunk for that episode. That was probably when I was co-hosting and sneaking through. Now that I'm hosting, I got to remember. But anyway, Dan, say hello to Drew, who had joined Stogie Geeks since last time you've been on.
Yeah, nice. I got to talk to Drew a little bit before we started the show. It was nice to meet Drew, and excited to get rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah. So these Tobacco Business Awards, a full disclosure on the tobacconist of the year. The nominations are Queensbury is one of the nominees. You also are joined by a really tall order of some significant shops. What I like to see, what I think is super cool, super cool, out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nominees, 5 of them are on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's really cool. So for people who aren't familiar, so Tobacco Business is industry magazine. Pretty much, it's made for tobacconists, but anyone can really pick it up. I'm pretty sure it's a free publication actually. But basically, They do. This is the third year they've done it. They do the Tobacco Business Awards. They do it at last year. It was at TPE, which is Tobacco Plus Expo. It's another new trade show for cigars. Pretty much everything, vape, CBD. That's in Las Vegas. But so the Tobacco Business Awards. They have a ton of different categories. Kind of like the Cigar Journal Awards they do at Intertobac in Germany every year. So there's a ton of different categories from Dominican Cigar of the Year, Honduran, Nicaraguan, boutique, even mass market product, accessory, entrepreneur of the year. And then we were fortunate enough to be nominated for Tobacconist of the Year. And yeah, it's a huge list of great shops. I mean, you have Twins in Londonderry in New Hampshire. Lord Puffer, which is out in California. I actually got to meet the woman who owns that on a factory tour about a year ago. Anstead's is on there. They're a big shop in the Carolinas. Boss Cigar, which is in Georgia. I think there's one more. Oh, and Short Thing.
Yep.
Which actually Luke Bryan is a part owner in that store. And they leave one appointed Merchant of the Year from Davidoff. So there's a lot of serious players on that list, like you said, and we're fortunate enough to also be considered in that category. And it's cool. It's a voting process, so it's based on the votes they get from consumers, retailers, manufacturers, and we got to the final round, and the final round's from now until December 31st.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It's the voting is open, and I'm gonna tell the listeners where to go, not only to consider a vote, but they have other categories as well. It's actually super cool because when you get done voting, they actually ask you, are you a consumer, are you a manufacturer, are you a retailer, and whatnot. Yeah. So it's actually the final question. It's a quick 2-minute. It's not even 2 minutes. It's a minute, and it's a quick minute survey to cast your vote. And also have you been to that TPE? You have last year, right?
Yeah.
So
last year,
explain the kind of differences between that and IBCPR, because correct me if I'm wrong. Like IBCPR or whatever it's going to be called, right? Is cigars, and it's cigars. And the Tobacco Business Award, the TPE, is really like the tobacco business. So there could be some accessories there or vape products, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so I was fortunate enough to be able to go to like all the big 3 tobacco shows in the last year. So we went to Intertobac last fall in Germany. We went to TPE in January, and we went to IPCPR, which is now PCA, in July. But basically, for people who don't know, it's the trade show. Obviously, there's a lot of manufacturers there, and it's cool to see everybody, and there's a lot of new products. But for my perspective, as on the retail side, that's where I do the majority of our purchasing for the store for the year. So a lot of times we spend most of those days working, trying to figure out budgeting, how much do we need to bring in for X, Y, and Z products, look out for new stuff coming to the market, etc. But so TPE is a newer trade show. It was actually voted one of the top new trade shows in general across the board, and whatever how they rate trade shows.
Sure.
But what's cool about TPE is it, unlike IPCPR, PCA, it's everything. It's not just premium products. So you have, before this year, a pretty small premium cigar presence at that show. I would say 60% of the show floor last year was vape, and like CBD vape products, glass, stuff like that, and accessories like roll your own accessories, stuff like that. But now it's more focused because of some of the changes at PCA on premium cigars. So you have a lot more manufacturers there, pipe tobacco, pipe makers, along with some more. I'll be curious to see actually how much vape is there this year because of all the change with vape in the U.S.
Sure. Yeah.
But definitely, I would say at least double or triple the amount of manufacturers on the premium cigar side are going this year. So it's pretty exciting, and we'll get a lot more work done because of that.
Yeah, I was gonna go there with the vape. I wonder this year. I'm sure it will be significantly reduced there just because of what's been going on. But then also, I mean, I also think that other than the IPCPR efforts in there, I think the industry itself, from my meetings and the people that I talk to in the industry, they're looking for something other than the format of IPCPR as well. Whether they want to admit it here on Stogie Geeks or not, I can tell you with all assurance that significant players were like, I'm not really too excited about there. So I also think that their timing from a conference perspective and from a business perspective is going to be well played to welcome in more of a presence of premium cigars for sure.
Yeah, 100%, Joe. The other thing about TPE I didn't get into is TPE is significantly smaller in terms of the scale that PCA is. And that means that manufacturers spend a lot less on booth space. Like a lot of big players who would have, I'm sure you guys have been to the show and done videos there. Some of those booths are bigger than some retail stores.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful booths. I mean, Perdomo's booth, I think it had to have cost them millions of dollars to build because of all the LED boards and it's beautiful. But like someone like General Cigars last year, who's STG is a giant company. They had a card table with a sign.
Yep.
Because they don't need to put all that effort in so they can save money.
Right.
Which is great for the manufacturing side. And it actually makes it easier to traverse the show because you have a much smaller floor to work.
Yeah.
So I think actually last year was in the North Hall at the Convention Center in Las Vegas. Now it's in the South Hall, which is, I'm pretty sure, the same place they've done IPCPR a couple of years. So it looks like they got a bigger footprint this year. So I'll be curious to see how much bigger it is compared to the year before.
Yeah, and it works the same way within the security field. Some of the cons are we must attend, and some of the cons are like, we really don't like the direction it's going in, but however, we must attend and stuff like that. And it works the same way, right? You got some companies, especially here in the premium cigar industry, can just walk the floor with a card table and do just as well as if you spent $500,000 on a booth or even $100,000 on a booth. And a lot of that from a business perspective, I really feel it has to deal with positioning, and then it also has to be about creating demand for your product, right? And plus, who left what company to roll what helps as well. The
other part about it, Joe, is TPE, look, we're in a position where we can be able to do a lot of our buying in the off season, which is a lot tough for some retailers because, if you're doing it on a budget, you might not be able to buy what you would maybe buy at IPCPR during the off time. But it's great for us because we can buy the majority of our product before the season starts and have it, as opposed to buy it in the middle of peak season. So there's a lot of serious buyers there, so they don't really need to roll out all the bells and whistles because the people who are there are serious people who want to buy.
Right.
You don't need as much glitz and glamour to get people in your booth to buy product. Most people who walk in that show know what they're getting into.
Yeah, you don't need a drum set or some chicken wings to sell cigars. You know what I mean? Or some chicken palm and stuff. You know what I mean? But anyway, Stogie Geeks, if you go to tobaccobusiness.com/awards20, right? Or tobaccobusiness.com, scroll all the way to you see the awards. You can click on there. You can cast your votes for the Business of Awards. Voting began on November 1st. It goes through December 31st. Winners will be announced during the awards ceremony on January 30th, 2020. During Tobacco Plus Expo, or TPE 2020 in Las Vegas. If Stogie Geeks, if you're on Facebook, you've probably already seen some of the nominees already post the logo and all of that stuff, so you might be all over this already, but there you go. Before we get into the other nominees and other categories, Dan, take us through the process that a business or for example, whoever was on the Legacy Award or Entrepreneur of the Year, how do you get into the category? And or more specifically, how did you get into that category to become a nominee?
Sure. Well, like I said, I kind of follow the tobacco business. They're pretty good about commenting on newsworthy stuff in the industry. So they send out like newsletters like 2, 3, 4 times a week, and they they sent out the thing like, hey, we're doing the Tobacco Business Awards. In the last few years, I think they've just done it in house, and they kind of picked who the nominees were and voted internally about who was going to win what. And this year they opened it up to a vote. So they just had like a blank. If you go to the page now, obviously you're choosing who you're going to vote for. But before it was just like it had every category, and then you just filled in what you thought should deserve to be nominated. And so we reached out to our customers and said, hey, this is what's going on. There's awards being offered for our business. If you enjoyed your time at Queensbury Cigar and Pipe and you think that we do a good job, we really appreciate your support, and send us a vote. And the top, I'm assuming I don't know about the other categories if they're all 6, but for Tobacconist it was 6. So it must have been whoever got the top 6 votes got into the finals. Yeah. And then the second half again is it's based on what people vote for. So it's it's pretty cool. It's based on what people who are actually involved in the industry do, and it's also a little bit of grassroots campaigning, which is always fun. We like doing a lot of the social media stuff at the shop anyway, so it's just a natural fit for us to do something like that. And,
sure.
It's great. So it's a great way to promote the store, and again, being good company with a lot of great retailers around the country.
Sure. Just to answer your question from reviewing the ballot, it is the top 6. So each category has 6 there. And we're going to go through the categories there for the listener as well. We can get into that. But before that, Drew, do you have a question for Dan?
No. I was just gonna say that I got a buddy who does the American Music Awards. I guess they kind of the same process, and he gets his ballot. It was cool because he was sharing it with me recently, about a month ago, and he was just telling me how showing me the ballot, and it's kind of the same form as is, but for me it's like just looking at the cigar shops that are there. So they just sent out this ballot, and this is how they comprise this. More say.
Yeah, I think so. I think like I said, it was sometime in October. I don't know if it ran the whole month, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks in October, where they just said, hey, vote for your favorite in each category for like entrepreneur, favorite cigar from each country, and let us know what you think. And then they must have comprised all the votes, and whoever got the top 6 in each category got to the next round, and then now you have the finals part of it. So
and we're gonna go through the list. Yeah, we're gonna go through the list now, Drew. Like if you look at it, Dan, we'll just go in order. Like Dominican Cigar of the Year, right? When you take a look at this, and it's like, oh yeah, I could see where some of the sticks have come. I'm just comparing it to my experience, right? Sure. Dominican Cigar of the Year. What are some of the sticks that I've been talking about over the past year in Stogie Geeks, right? Definitely. Yeah. I've mentioned the EP Carrillo Dusk several times, right? Christoph Vengeance. I've mentioned them. La Flora Dominicana, Double Lajero Digger. That's interesting because if you're comparing that stick to other sticks, that's a huge cigar, right? So wondering how some of the voting is going to go out on that. Davidoff, Winston Churchill, Late Hour. I mean, I can't get through a Stogie Geeks episode without saying Davidoff or Tatuaje, right? So there you go with that. Arturo Fluente. Hemingway, Untold Story. Interesting how that crept up there, right? That's you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. There was a couple of cigar. I mean, we'll go through the list, obviously, but there's a couple of cigars on there where you're like, I mean, hey, there's a lot of cigars that, people might say the same thing about us, being on this. So
All right.
So who knows? But there's some definitely in the cigars. There's some surprising choices. But hey, it's great to know what people are smoking, especially retailer.
Yeah. The nominees for that seem to be in tune, and you can tell that they're the ones that are all over there. The only one out of this that really sticks out for me, just cigar wise, is the LFD Double Hero Digger, right?
Yeah.
And then cigar wise, again, if you're listening at home, this is for the Dominican Cigar of the Year, is the Arturo Fuente Hemingway Untold Story. Like, I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
I gotta go smoke one of those again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, like really, like how many votes did they get, and how many people are still out there? Like, if that's
right,
because if you look at a voting process, right? Obviously, like you said, good 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's all about top of mind awareness, right? So you build top of mind awareness. They go to the site, they vote, they go through their process. Like, I don't think I've ever said in the past 2 years, Arturo Fuente Hemingway Untold Story. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you would definitely think that it would be the short story,
right?
Or maybe like a double chateau,
858 Sun Grown.
Exactly,
right?
Like or Opus X.
Sure. There you go. Right, Opus X. Totally forgot. Yeah, right.
Yeah, or like with LFD, like a Chapter 1 or the Andalusian Bull,
Yep.
like the stuff that people are always talking about. So yeah, it's kind of funny to see cigars that you didn't expect. You know, that's great.
Yep. Next category is Nicaraguan Cigar of the Year. Right? So you got the Drew Estate Acid 20, the Gurkha Trienta, right? My Father's Cigars, Don Pepper Garcia Original. I'm a fan of that for sure. Oliva Melanio, the Series V. Perdomo Habano, the bourbon aged Maduro. And Plasencia, the El Mar del Fuego. Plasencia El Mar del Fuego, super popular in South Florida. Like, Plasencia is all over the place in South Florida. Every shop,
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty strong list for Nicaraguan cigars because all those cigars are great sellers. They're call brand stuff. I mean, especially like the Don Pepin. That's an OG stick right there.
I love Don Pepin.
I remember.
I love Don Pepin. Like, I love black. I love blue. Black's my favorite out of the two, even though blue got the higher rating. I don't know. But
that Perdomo is by far one of our best sellers for sure.
Oh, the Perdomo Habano bourbon aged Maduro.
Yeah,
Perdomo does well in a lot of shops. Like, I think a lot of it has to do with price. You know what I mean?
It's price, and it's a great cigar because what's funny, it's kind of weird in the Northeast because if you're south of the Mass Pike, it doesn't do well. It's not really popular. Rhode Island, Connecticut, south of 90 in New York, but like New Hampshire, upstate New York, it is white hot. And everything they do, not just like one particular stick, like all their lines, 20th anniversary champagne, bourbon barrel aged line, and they're a great price and they're really good smokes. So it's no surprise to see that they do well.
Yep. I'm old school with the Perdomo. I'm a lot 23 guy. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, lot 23. You know what I mean? Yep. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I'm still an OG. I have not had an Acid 20. Full disclosure.
People love it.
I'm sure they do. I just never. I never got around to it yet this year. I will. There come Thanksgiving, Christmas, when I'm going out after work and catching up with friends and doing that, and I've had a couple of sticks. I'm sure I'll default to the Acid 20.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a box press. It's a little bit smaller than like maybe a Cuba. But the feedback I heard from people at the show who tried it, who aren't like Acid fans, are like, I don't really like, I'm not normally an Acid smoker, but this was really good.
Yeah.
So, and people liked it at the shop.
You know what's crazy? When I first heard of the Acid 20, and obviously it's for some of the newer Stogie Geeks listeners, it's a 20-year anniversary. I was like, holy shit, am I getting old? Because I remember when that first came out and we were rocking those. I remember the old school meetings, the old school cigar events when Drew Estate had a freaking 1964 something or other car. and it would go to the events and whatnot, and over at the Humidor Smoke Shop, and checking out the car, and it was all tricked out with the acid artistry and all that stuff.
Those were fun events. Those Drew events were wild, man.
Years ago, dude. Now I remember life before Drew Estate. In the cigar industry, you know what I mean? And be perfectly candid, Drew Estate did a phenomenal recruitment job for their fans of the brand, for sure.
Yep, and no one's ever been able to replicate it.
No one's ever been able to replicate it.
I don't know if anyone ever will.
I don't think so. I think, a lot of it, but what I like about it, and this is going to bring to the latter part of our interview, is, it's like, what do you want to see? And I'm just asking you this now so you can start to think about it, so I don't put you on the spot, but, like, what do you want to see, like, in the future of the industry? And you know what I liked about Drew Estate, staying on the topic, is that, like, they did their best to incorporate, at the time, the artistry and culture of what is in Nicaragua, and I believe it's Brooklyn, it's in New York, right? And they infused the culture, right? No pun intended with the cigar infusion, right? they infused the culture, and then they just created such awareness and artistry in a pre-internet time, like a pre-social media time and all this stuff, where it was like it is today. And it just left you wanting to inquire more about the brand.
Yeah, they're a very inclusive brand, just naturally by the products they make, and the broad spectrum of people who smoke Drew Estate cigars. And they're masters at marketing.
Yeah,
they've done a great job of separating themselves from other manufacturers, and they were ahead of the curve in terms of what was going to be popular, and they got involved with the hip hop stuff before people, it's a section of the business that a lot of guys are into.
Yeah. And what I like about it is with the culture is they've really stayed the same. Like, what I'm saying is that, like, the Drew Estate acid fan didn't change. You know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Like, it's been the same. So now these 20-year-olds who were exposed to Drew Estate, like myself, and 40-year-olds now, right? Because 20 years have passed, and there's a 4 in front of my number, unfortunately, right? And you're like, wow, like, they've stayed the same. You know what I mean? And even what I call new recruits, because it really is like it's little underground, little, militia, if you will. They have like a militia of fans, right? Even the new recruits are still going back and going into that history, which is going to tailor towards the end of my question for you as far as what I miss greatly from the industry. But anyway, moving right along with this list, Drew, you have anything to add on the Nicaraguan cigar of the year? Try not to hog all the time.
No. I'm smoking the Oliva Series V Milanio.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, this is one of my go-to cigars at least twice a week.
Yeah.
I've been hooked on these since they've entered the market, and I was good to see them on the list for sure. So just wanted to share that with everybody. That's what I'm representing right now.
Well, I'm representing the 25th anniversary edition Christoph cigar for Queensbury Tobacco and Pipe that I got at their event. Dan, I love this cigar. You got to take some time. Don't let me say goodbye to you until we talk about that blend, all right?
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to stay focused. All right.
I'm smoking one myself. So.
Yeah, they're super good. Like, they're super good. That and that new JT series have got Christoph in my rotation for sure. Honduran city. Jeepers Crow. Honduran cigar of the year. Honduran cigar of the year. Alec Bradley Magic Toast. CLE. Aroa, the first 20 years. Camacho. Camacho, Nicaragua barrel-aged Toro. General Cigar Company, the Macanudo Inspirado Orange. JRE, Aladino, Corojo Reserva, and the Rocky Patel Edge. Now, Rocky Patel Edge has been around for a while. Alandino, I'm saying maybe 2 years off the top of my head, coming through with JRE. The Macaduno Inspirito Orange. Have you had one of those, Dan?
Yeah. We carry the Inspirato line at the store.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Definitely a different flavor profile than like your classic Macanudo like cafe series.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more body to it. They have 3 or 4 different ones now, but they have like a red, black, white. But they're pretty good and they're a great price point. They're under $10.
Yep.
In New York, so that tells you they're
that tells you that probably $8.50 somewhere else, right? Yeah.
I think they're actually $8.50 in New York, so they're probably like $6.50 somewhere else.
Yeah.
In Texas for sure.
Oh, really? Oh, so
Yeah.
you've had one, Drew?
I've had one. Yeah, they're about $7 here.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
not too bad.
Oh,
It's very good value.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and find one for sure because I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to rag on any local shops. They don't have it over here. All right, but anyway, I was an OG, Dan. When I went to your shop, I grabbed my the Monte Cristo Platinum first shot. I was like, man, I love these things. There too. Anyway, Camacho Nicaragua Barrel Aged Toro. I can see that maybe playing.
What's funny about
I can see that. What?
It's funny about that cigar. That cigar is rolled at the Dominican factory.
Okay, whatever.
Just
say it. Okay.
Unless I don't know. I just thought that was funny. It's a great cigar.
Yeah.
Well, I love the barrel age line, the American barrel age, and well, you know what? I might be wrong. They weren't making the Nicaraguan barrel age when I was at the factory, and they were making the American there. So maybe they are making the Nicaraguan. I don't know.
Nah, that's all good. Yeah, I like it. CLE Aurora first 20 years. I've had it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
solid smoke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alec Bradley Magic Toast. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'm a fan of the Project 40 stuff. I'm not really swaying towards the Magic Toast, but I've heard it's doing very well. So, who am I, right? Boutique Cigar of the Year. Here we go. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. The Sobremesa Brulee.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Absolutely. I can see that. Foundation Tabernacle. Absolutely. That's 2 great smokes right there. I have not had a Just Some Crawl, if I'm even pronouncing it right, JSK Nugs. I'm like, what the heck? So, have you even heard of that, Dan?
You probably know the answer to that. It's no.
Yeah. No.
Upstate New York is not a hotbed for boutique products.
Yep.
Now, Martin and Foundation we both carry and we do really well with. But
Sure.
some of the stuff flies over my radar, unfortunately.
In essence, of saving time on your interview, Drew and I will go through the boutique stuff. Oscar Superfly, that is a banging smoke. Like out of the gate, I was like, yep. And the Doomsayer by Room 101. So those are the boutique cigars of the year for their nominees. A couple more categories to review. Mass market products. Actually, we're not going to go. I'm just going to burn through this just for the Stogie Geeks listener. The Davidoff Mini Cigarillos Gold. The J.C. Newman Factory Throwouts. But then you have Black and Milds, like they're old school. Anyway, you got some Swisher Sweets in there and some Villiger exports. Again, this. Again, the tobacco business caters to other than just premium cigars. So there you go. Accessory manufacturer of the year. I could tell you who shouldn't win. But anyway, your candidates are ST DuPont, Zycar, Kentucky Double, Colibri, and Bovita, and Les Fins Lams.
Lafine Lames.
Oh, Lafine. What the hell is that?
They make really high-end
French.
fancy accessories, but I have the Kentucky Double right here. I showed it to you earlier.
Yeah.
My buddy Matt was hanging out for the show.
Yeah.
Actually got this for me for my birthday this year. This is a really cool accessory if you want some cool ashtray for the the bar, by the way. Just to figure I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Zycar makes super cool product for sure. Bovita, I don't know. I think maybe they might run away with that, but anyway, I don't know.
DuPont, baby.
You think so?
Gotta have that ping, man. You know,
you
gotta have the ping.
ST DuPont. That's a little fancy for me. Is that soft flame, right?
Yeah, this is a soft flame. This is my buddy Matt was kind enough to let me borrow this for the show. This is the new Crazy Diamonds, really cool piece.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Then Tobacconist of the Year, which we started the interview with, obviously Queensbury Cigar and Pipe being part of that. Twin Smoke Shop, Sure Thing Cigars, Lord Puffer Cigars, Boss Cigars, and Anasted's Tobacco Company. And then tobacco chain franchise, you got CI, Cigars International, Corona Cigar Company, Old Virginia Tobacco Company, Smokin', Smoker Friendly, and Tinderbox. I can probably predict that winner. Moving on, Entrepreneur of the Year. We'll spend a little bit more time on the last three. Entrepreneur of the Year, Woman of the Year, and the Legacy Award. The Entrepreneur of the Year, you have Alan Rubin from Alec Bradley Cigars, Dave Garofalo from Two Guys Smoke Shop, Glenn Case from Christoph Cigars, Matt Booth from Room 101, Pete Johnson from Tatuaje Cigars, and Robert Caldwell from Caldwell Cigar Company. A lot of good choices here. This, I think, is going to be a dogfight. You know what I mean? However that, and solid choices right there. Not, you know what I mean? Really super cool. Alec Bradley's starting to make a comeback. Dave Garofalo is no stranger to the industry. Glenn Case from Christoph, Matt Booth, Pete Johnson, and Robert Caldwell. Interesting how that one's going to pan out. Off air, both you and Drew text me your predictions on that one. I'm not going on record for that. You know what I mean? I can tell you who I voted for because, I'll look at them in the face and tell them who I voted for. And I can tell you 15 reasons who I wouldn't vote for. But, anyway, moving on. Any comments on that, gentlemen? Are we good for sure?
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. It's a cool category. I think last year Michael Herklots won that from Nat Sherman. He's a great guy. But this is a cool list, and it was cool to see Dave on there. As on the retail side, to be in with a lot of manufacturers, pretty cool.
Yeah,
to be the only retail. I mean, Dave's awesome. I mean, he's brilliant on the retail stuff, and I'm biased because I worked for Glenn. And he's great. He's a great person to work for.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. And I know him and Dave probably the best out of everyone on that list. And I hope one of those two takes it home just selfishly because they're good guys and they do a lot for the industry.
Yeah. Like I said, when I that was the only one that when I was voting, I was like, whoa, that's a solid, okay, you read it, you're like, okay, I like this, okay, yeah. And that one stuck out. I was like, wow, that's a solid list. And that's probably, don't be surprised if we were screenshotting it and fast forwarding a year or recapping this episode. Don't be surprised if some of those candidates are on next year's ballot as well. You know what I mean?
Everyone on that list could be on there every year.
Yeah, definitely. Woman of the Year, you have Indiana Ortez. You have I hope I don't Janine Perdomo. Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Karen Berger, Lana Fraser, Maya Salva, and Nurka Reyes. So interesting. Going back, you have Nurka Reyes is Los Del Reyes Cigars. Maya Salva is from Maya Salva Cigars. Lana Freyes from Davidoff. Karen is from Don Kiki. Janine, pronounce it right? Perdomo? Yeah?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. From Perdomo Cigars. And Indiana Ortez from, I know I'm going to smash this word. Drew, you got it? Can you pronounce it?
Argo Industrial. Oh, industrial.
Okay. There you go.
Agro-industrial.
There you go. There you go.
And there you go. Nicaragua de Tobacco, South America.
Yeah.
Nicaragüense.
Really?
Nicaragüense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I see the accent marks above the. There you go.
Have you had?
Yeah, like-
have you even been exposed? No, you haven't been exposed to those, Dan, have you? No. There you go. Yeah. So interesting. I've been exposed to a few of those. I'm excited to see that. And again, don't be surprised if some of those candidates are going to be on next year's ballot as well. And then you have the Legacy Award, and this again is stacked for sure. You have Carlos Carlito Fluente Jr. from Arturo Fluente, Don Pepin Garcia from My Father Cigars, Rocky Patel from Rocky Patel Premium Cigars, Nick Perdomo Jr. from Perdomo Cigars, Manuel Quesada from Quesada Cigars, and Heinrich Villiger from Villiger Cigars.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Great list.
That is a great list. I mean, if we were going old school, Don Pepin, Carlos Carlito, or Manuel Quesada, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, you could make an argument for what Rocky's done for the industry and what Henrich is doing. Not really so much here in the States, but on the other side of the pond, as they say, Villiger is a player for sure. You
Monster.
know? Yeah. You know, if you're rocking out in Switzerland and Italy, you know they are the Drew estate maybe of over there. Without any of the yacht, but you know what I'm saying. They have a lot of loyal followers.
I believe they're still the largest buyer of Cuban tobacco in the world. They're a big deal. But I think I misheard you earlier when you were talking about Women of the Year. But yeah, I know Janine Perdomo. She's great. Both Nick and Janine, husband and wife, they do a lot for the industry. They're great people. Like I said, I can't say enough about them. They're very hospitable. Their factory tour is great. But I hope they win. They're great. They do a lot for us. And they if you walk in their booth as retail, they pretty much know everyone by name. And that's pretty impressive to be the owner of the company and know all your retailers all across the country and be in tune with about what's going on. They're very involved in their business and they do a great job. That Legacy Award in general, that's any one of those guys could win that award easily.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure if you tune in, we will announce the winners here on Stogie Geeks, I'm sure, but you'll probably find out on Facebook from the awards quicker because there'll be a couple-day lag and social media tends to take that away, but we will certainly follow up on that for sure. Two more topics I want to talk to you.
So the voting.
What?
Oh,
go ahead. No,
I was going to say, so the voting's open until the end of the. So those of you guys who are out there on Facebook and you see that, you definitely got some time to get your votes in. For sure.
Yep. And
let us know. Share with us.
Yeah, let Drew know. Drew at StoryGeeks.com. Everybody, have you been getting emails, Drew? Everybody's talking to you. I can tell you've been getting a couple because mine have cut down in half. So that's awesome. If you have any complaints about the show, you email Drew at StoryGeeks.com. If you have anything positive to say, you email Drew at StoryGeeks.com. Awesome. Dan, I want to talk to you about two more things. Take us through this process of your anniversary party, which just happened on the 8th of October. And Christoph, you had made a stick, which I'm enjoying now, called the QPC 25. QCP 25, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So, like you said before, I used to work for Christoph Cigars for a brief time. I had a great relationship with Glenn and Jared and pretty much the whole company. They're great people and make great products. But I ran into Glenn around a year ago at an event outside of the shop, and we were just talking. He's like, "Hey man, I'd love to do some sort of project with you guys." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always down to do anything as long as it makes sense and our guys are going to be supportive of it." So we started getting the wheels in motion. I was said, hey, next year is Kathleen's 25th anniversary of Queensbury Cigar and Pipe being open. Why don't we do a 25th anniversary stick? I think that'd be a perfect time to launch one. We've never done anything like that with a manufacturer branded cigar, so it was just great timing. And the most important part of it for me was to get our customers involved in the blend, because realistically, without our customers, we can't operate our business. And as much fun as it is to buy lots of cigars, I didn't buy thousands of cigars for myself or staff to smoke. It's for our customers. So we wanted to make something that everyone who's a customer, whether a full-bodied guy, mild guy, medium-bodied guy, could enjoy. And we wanted to make sure that their input was crucial in the blending of the stick.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how long did that take? Like roughly,
So we started talking early December, and we got the product in store at the middle of August.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, basically we went from, okay, this is what we want to do in terms of size, shape. We talked about how I didn't want to do the traditional pigtail and shaggy foot that Christoph does. I wanted a traditional smoke. I wanted it to come in a small format box, like the Pissed Off. Just use the same box as the Pissed Off. It's convenient for all of us, so we don't have to make a new box, don't have to do anything fancy.
Yep.
And it takes up a small footprint. And then start working on kind of the blend stuff that I had seen on the market that I think that would be a good starting point to go, this is kind of what I want to make it taste like. And then we did 3 or 4 blending sessions between myself, Jared, and John Fozzie, who's the sales rep for Christoph.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did 2 or 3 sessions with our VIP members, getting their input, guys who smoke a lot of different cigars, have good palates, and can give me their honest feedback without just telling me it's good to make me, whatever. Go away.
Take us through that process, because honestly, when you had told me about that, I found it fascinating that you've, as a business, I mean, smart move, but you've seeked the input of some of your VIP members. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And most people don't want to do that, right? They want to produce something, like you said, either they smoke or whatever. But take us through that and how that worked out for you.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's the most important part of the whole process, because ultimately we're not the ones buying the product at the retail level. It's the consumer. And if they don't like it, it doesn't matter if it could be the best cigar that anyone's ever produced. If it's not for them, it's going to sit on my shelf, and it's a waste of money. It's a waste of time, and it's a waste of effort and a lot of marketing and stuff. So we started with, I think, 3 blends. We changed one portion of the blend on 3 different things. So we used one, I believe we started with an Ecuadorian Connecticut, and then we did 2 Ecuadorian Habanos, and we changed. One was with a Nicaraguan binder, and one was with a Connecticut binder.
Okay.
And we got all 3. We gave it to them blind without telling them what the binder, filler, any of the stuff is. Just I want your honest feedback. Tell me what you think of the cigar.
Yep.
And they would tell me, okay, this one's too mild, this one's too strong, it's too bitter, it's not for them. And we picked out, I think it was the second blend, and then we smoked that again, went through what we liked about it, what we didn't, and then we decided to up the priming to give it a little bit more kick, and not really change the blend, just change a little bit of the type of tobacco we were like, just up the priming really. And then we got that, and that was it. We hit it exactly where we wanted it to be. Everyone agreed who was a part of the process that was what it should have been. And then we moved forward with production, with doing the box labels, doing the bands, all the other final stage stuff.
So the VIP members obviously had a chance to smoke the blend before the party that we were exposed to.
I mean,
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they got it at the ground level, because like I said, it's twofold, because 1, they're a part of the process to make sure that it's the right blend for them. But 2, when the product comes out, they're invested in that process. So they probably are going to want to pick some up for themselves. And it's a cool thing to be able to say you were a part of making a cigar, because it's not something that everyone gets to do unless you go on like maybe a factory tour,
Right.
or
right.
on the manufacturing side.
Yeah, that's super cool. That'd be super cool if something like that happened locally. I mean, I know you are 3 hours away from us, but like locally to be part of a panel. I've done some blind stuff.
Yeah.
There's the Regency's been doing like a stick of the week, and then having them battle it out like over the month. You know what I mean? A brand and whatnot. I think it's on Thursdays off the top of my head. That's super cool, because then you get the stick and they pair it, and I mean all he's doing is getting his customers' feedback on that if it's going to come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do with a lot of the same guys. And coming up, I'll do a blind taste test with a few people to determine the top 10 cigars of the year at the store. Same thing, we'll do a blind taste test. And actually, I'm working on a project right now, Christoph, that potentially we might continue to do this series, but include a lot more people in the blending process. And I think it would be pretty cool to every year be able to, the cigar will change based on who's in that room that day, and just see what comes out every year, just through that creativity and just the input of who's in that room smoking the cigar.
Oh, so you'd be doing like QCP 26 or all right, 26, 27, 28. Okay, so they are going to be limited production, the QCP 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Gotcha.
QCP 25 is it's limited production. If we might still keep it, who knows? It's done really well, so I might not stop production on it. And that's up to Christoph too, really, because they're the ones rolling it.
Yeah,
but
you're gonna be a VIP to get in on QPC 26.
No, I like I said, it's in the early stages of planning right now.
Right.
And you should come up, man. I think we're gonna do like a whole big event with it, and possibly make this an annual thing. And then, like I said, who's in that room is going to determine who's making what's going to make it to the final product.
Yeah, you're gonna invite me to that event. I'll slow down on my way to your place, I promise.
Yeah, 77 and under when you hit the New York line, buddy.
I learned the hard way. I got my results from court.
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Law has applied me guilty as charged.
Yep.
So I will be making my donation to the wonderful state of New York pretty soon. It's due. Anyway, awesome. What has been hot kind of going since post IPCPR? What has been like? So what some of your clients been coming in? We're gonna probably ask this of all of our retail guests from now and until the next show. Just what's been kind of either a talked about stick that you don't have and you transfer them to another stick because it's not on your shelf, or what has been really going since the trade show?
Well, since the trade show, some stuff has just been hot and continued to get hotter, and we brought in some new stuff this year at the show that's done really well. So like,
give me the
Perdomo,
hot and hotter.
The Perdomo is white hot.
Yeah.
The more I add, the more it goes. It's kind of weird. Normally, when you add more facings, some of the other cigars slow down in a line, and it's crazy. It's just they're really popular in our shop. So Perdomo is very hot. In terms of newer stuff, we did bring in the Sober Mesa Brulee. That's done really well. We had an event last night with Dunbarton.
Oh, yeah.
And the guys really enjoyed that. The Tricky Traco, which was the Firecracker blend, has done well. Late Hour, since it's come out, is still hot. That's still a really popular smoke. Christoph Vengeance, again, same thing.
How's is it? Not Timeless, not Sherman, the Prestige? Is that Prestige series?
The Supreme and the Prestige. They basically just renamed the Dominican and the Nicaraguan. But those do really well. The Host is still the cream of the crop in terms of selling. The Baccarat style, the original Baccarat, basically.
Yep.
That sweet tip flavored smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff that has been hot has stayed hot. Davidoff Late Hour, Perdomo, Christoph, Vengeance, and we brought in Tabernacle. Actually, you know what? Out of the foundation stuff, Charter Oak. has been killing it because it's a great price point and it's a great cigar for under $7.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal price point that Charter Oak is at, and I think it's a great introduction to from a business move to get some consumers into the Foundation brand.
Yeah, for sure. It's this year has kind of been what the last couple of years has been. This more of the consistent brands have been doing consistently better. Yeah. As long as it's on the shelf, it'll keep cranking.
Mm-hmm. Final question for you, Dan. What do you want to see in 2020, 2021 from the industry itself? I've been asking this as the final question for our Stogie Geeks interviewees to kind of get a synopsis as to like what not like a prediction as far as like where the industry is going or whatnot, but like what do you want to see more of or less of, out of the industry?
So I would say a couple things. I'd want to see. Definitely, I'd like to see Queensbury Cigar and Pipe win Tobacconist of the Year in the Tobacco Business Awards in 2020. So
there you go.
Appreciate your vote if you haven't voted yet.
Sure.
That'd be one thing. But I'd really love to see more retailers get together and work together in their state groups. If they have a state tobacco association, work together to fight off a lot of legislation that's coming through. I mean, every day you read more about flavor bans, smoking bans, tobacco selling bans. It's important now more than ever to get together with your state organization. If you don't have a state organization in your state, create one. Retailers got to work together to protect each other, because if one retailer goes out of business, it's not like the other one's going to get all their customers. They might move on or they might stop smoking. Myself and Kathleen are on the New York Tobacconist Association board, so we work really hard to try and prevent a lot of laws going into effect in New York, and then also proactively do stuff to help retailers besides just fight off stuff. But work together if you're on the retail side to protect all of your own businesses. It's important because of the landscape we're in. And in terms of on the retail consumer side, I'd just like to see more great cigars coming out. Hopefully with the FDA stuff, it's a great question mark, but be able to see the consistency and the quality of cigars that have been coming out right now is probably better now more than ever. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see more of that, and support your brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, I think you bring up a bunch of valid points where the retailers definitely need to work together. I often sit in one retail shop and have them talk about another retail shop, and vice versa, and it just doesn't do good for the consumer. Yeah. It doesn't make them look good.
Well, you're never gonna get away from the gossip girl aspect of the industry, but when you're in that, when you can be competitors and competition is great, and be competitors when you're in your own business. But when you're in a room together trying to work on state stuff, you got to work together, and you got to put your differences aside and realize the dire straits some states are in to prevent your business from being successful, and you need each other to get that stuff. So just be, there's nothing wrong with being competitive and knowing what's going on with your competition, but it's not the best thing to do in front of your customers, but it happens. But
most of them do. Most of them do.
Work together. Support each other.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting, because I remember when we went down to the State House in Rhode Island when some of our legislation was there. One of my takeaways was that the arguments weren't in unison. One shop owner said this, one shop owner said this, and and it was like they were all great points. But if I were a C student politician listening to a panel, I would at least know, since I was a C student, that it should be all, like, you have to make an impact on the floor to get them to consider whatever their vote is. Oh, most of them know the vote, and they're going through the motions. Either way, right? But I would want a more organized, the forum was like Joe Zempa hosting the Stogie Geeks. Hey, yo, hey, and all of that. And it wasn't like 1, 2, 3. These are our points. You know what I mean? And if, as opposed to if there were really pending legislation in New York or any of the state, and if they were a bit more organized and on the same page, it would be, we had what we had legislation-wise was they wanted to raise the cap tax, 50-cent cap tax, from 50 to 80. Some was saying, we'll get rid of the 50-cent cap tax altogether so I can do this. Some was saying, keep it at 50 cents cap tax. And some was saying, well, maybe you should go back and just settle for the difference and make it 65. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, if I was them, I'd be like, I've already had a notion of whether I like or unlike tobacco. That's up for the voter or for the politician. And you did not help or hurt your situation. You just didn't help your situation, if that makes sense.
You just spoke.
Yeah.
You just said your piece of mind as opposed to what you're saying.
Yeah, and then we were combined. Yeah, and then we were combined with, because they had some vape legislation in there, and they had some cigarettes of legislation in there.
That's the problem.
And they broke their arguments out. It's like, you had the vape guy or gal, shop owner, crying poverty, yet they never even had a tobacco tax ever in Rhode Island. So it's only been sales tax. So it's like, you've had this ride for freaking 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These guys haven't had the ride. Cigarettes are taking a bombardment. But the cigarette industry was the most organized. They had the not retail association. What are they called? Gas stations. The gas station.
C-store.
Yeah.
C-store.
Yeah, they had their legislation there.
Oh, yeah.
And they just simply said, they were like, boom, mic drop. They rolled up in the thing and said, listen, if you raise the cigarette tax in Rhode Island, 60% of all gas purchases come from the purchase of cigarettes.
Yep.
And bang. Yep. And you know what they did? They let it slide for another year. They just let it slide. They were going to raise it from $4.25 pack to $4.50. You know what they did? Okay, get back. And they looked somewhere else. Now, they didn't do anything to cigars yet. They didn't do anything to the vape yet because of all the vape that's been going on that's above that level. But it's like they were the most organized. And I was like, dude.
Oh, they're always going to be, Joe, because big tobacco, man, and C-stores are what moves the needle in any state, really. Yeah. And, like we were just saying, we could talk all day about all this different stuff. But like in New York, for example, they just banned vape recently, flavored vape across the state. Mm-hmm. So, and it's I don't want to ever see anything banned as whatever. But it was the first time the state had separated vapor from tobacco products because they don't understand what it is or how it works, and what happens is they end up rolling in a lot of other tobacco stuff like flavored tobacco, just because let's see what we can get through, but they don't understand how the industry works, and that if you tax super high, you're just going to lose all that money to Pennsylvania, which is tax free, or New Hampshire or online, and it's a really crazy landscape. And like I say, you got to work together because there's some stuff you're not going to be able to, like tobacco 21. That's going to happen federally within the next couple of years.
That's going to be interesting because of
21's gone.
I know, but because of the whole military.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's
alcohol like that too. You know, it's
right. Like that's going to be very. That's going to be very interesting as to how that goes down as well.
But so like for the New York tobacco, we knew like that wasn't our hill to die on because there was nothing that we were going to do to stop that. But right now they're introducing potentially a flavor ban in New York State on tobacco products. That's pipe tobacco, flavored cigars, acid, you name it.
Yeah,
black, all of it. That's stuff that's why being organized before this stuff hits can help you get a head start on getting with your politicians, working together with the PCA, which is a great group to support retailers and protect your businesses. And that's why I say you got to get together proactively and not reactively.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dan, thank you for joining us here on Stogie Geeks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Hope you enjoy the QCP25, and see you guys soon. Nice to meet you, Drew.
Good luck with the voting as well. So absolutely. Stogie Geeks, we're going to take a quick break. Drew and I are going to come back, talk Sticks of the Week.
Plasencia cigars, perfected for more than 150 years. Yours to enjoy now.
What's up, Stogie Geeks listeners? Joe Zempa here, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, a.k.a. the Italian Stallion, telling you about a little giveaway that we have going on. We've teamed up with our sponsor, JC Newman, this year to give back to the Stogie Geeks listener. They've been such an awesome partner so far. They've decided to give away one Diamond Crown Humidor per quarter to the winner that they choose. All you got to do is log on to stogiegeeks.com/Diamond Crown. Click on the enter to win button. It's really that easy. So if you're smart and you want an awesome humidor for your home collection, go to our website, stogiegeeks.com, find that banner ad right on top, click on it, and register to win that humidor. Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stogie Geeks episode 312. I am your host, Joe Zempa. I am joined remotely from Texas, home of the slowest internet in the world, Drew. What up?
Nothing much, brother. Just over here hanging out, enjoying the Stogie here at the lounge, hanging out with the guys. We had a big purple wave come through starting about a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
So that only can mean one thing.
Well,
All the men of the Vikings are in town.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know how I'm going to end today's show, Drew?
How's that?
Two things I'm going to say. Behind every cigar, there's a story worth knowing. Get out there and shop local and visit your local retailers. And also, everything's bigger in Texas except for the internet. There you go. What do you think?
That sounds about right.
Sounds
I don't know
about right.
Why
all right, there you
can't.
go. Well, if you miss Stogie Geeks, if you missed last week's show, you can go to stogiegeeks.com, click on the episode, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel or throw Stogie Geeks into your podcast catcher. Make sure you do that so you don't miss an episode. Also, next week in our Sticks of the Week segment, Drew and I are going to be taking some time out to talk a little bit about Plasencia cigars and give a full review and let you know, the Stogie Geeks listener, where you can get some good deals on some Plasencia cigars. So you want to tune in for that for the Sticks of the Week. Anyway, Drew, it's been a quick week for me here. I don't know why. This week flew by. But your sticks, I'm excited about 3 of them. So that's cool. Can't wait to talk about that.
Nice.
So you can start with anyone you want to start with.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and go with the Crown Heads, JD Howard Reserve or JD JHR.
Yeah.
So, good stick. Love the stick. God, I think I've already gone through a box of these.
Yes.
Man, construction, just the look of the stick, just fabulous. I actually had the Toro on this one, the 50 5.5 by 50. They do have a few Vitolas in this, Lancero, Pentanella, Robusto, and the Toro. These sticks are about $10, so not too bad. They don't break the bank, but you're talking about a good value, an enjoyable stick. For me, like I said, I always for the coffees, and I'll tell you, it's just a fabulous experience. The Crown Heads lineup for sure. The other one I'm hooked up on, just the FYI, else is the Tennessee Waltz, I believe it is. Yeah, Tennessee. That's just another stick of mine, another one of the favorites that I've had. I don't know if you have had the chance to enjoy those, but man, stick is fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Origin on this stick, Dominican Republic, wrapper, Brazil, blend, Sumatra, Ecuador, and filler Nicaragua. So, just in that lineup right there just kind of tells you, if you get geekish into it like we do, lets you know that what you're in for. So, taste notes on this right off the bat. You got that nice wood come through, more on the and when I say I'm thinking more in the oak factor, and then comes in spice. Spice for me, it's just there. It's prep. It's not overpowering, but it's there. And then of course the coffee kicks in. So the coffee flavor, coffee bean, for me, it's in nicely. Into the second, third, it starts a little sweetness. And again, I'm attributing that more to spice more than anything. And I'm going to say the sweetness of the spice is going to be in the cinnamon area. And it's just enjoyable. That second, third. Smoke on this has been very, it's not like a big bellowing smoke cigar. It gives out a nice aromatic sweetness of that spice, and then that leather starts to come through. That leather, man, again, it's just one of those things I enjoy about this cigar. It's dead on. You don't escape it, and you don't want to, because it just really gives that rich aromatic senses there with the retrohale and the pepper that comes through when you start to retrohale this stick towards the second, third, and then last third. Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend this cigar. I mean, this cigar for me, again, going into it, I actually had a couple of friends that had the Lancero, and that definitely the wrapper, the Brazil wrapper, really comes through on that. It's really nice. Stogie's rating on this one for me is a box split. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they're about $10. They're not expensive, but with the cigars I'm smoking, I definitely like to box split this one with a few friends of mine, and enjoy the stay out the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Once you get past the first third of it, the second third, retrohale, like if you don't retrohale, you're gonna start to see you're gonna start to taste a little bit of coffee, maybe some pepper, definitely that woody cedar oak for sure. Once you retrohale that pepper kicks in really nicely. What I've noticed about this stick,
it does.
Excuse me. What I've noticed about this stick is that it's balanced so well. So, you can actually have that in the morning, and you can have it in the evening after dinner. You can have it anytime. If you're golfing or fishing, awesome portable stick. It's not gonna fall apart on you. Construction's awesome. I am certainly a fan of Crowned Heads for sure. If you follow me on Twitter, I usually retweet some of their stuff on a weekly basis, as I'm personally a fan of the brand. Definitely. I like the 4 kicks a little bit better. If we were going, but that's a solid box split for sure.
Yeah.
The binder on that, it's a Sumatra, right?
Sumatra,
yeah. It's the Ecuadorian Sumatra, I think, that really kicks in that kind of smoothness. You know what I mean? Usually for me, you start throwing out words in a stick mixed with Nicaragua, Ecuadorian Sumatra, or Honduran, which I've continually saying on that on this show. Ecuadorian Sumatra or Nicaraguan Honduran combo, Ecuadorian Sumatra with Nicaraguan combo, awesome to retrohale. And if it's balanced well, it's certainly going to get a higher rating for sure.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my exciting sticks that you were talking about, so that's good. Not that your other sticks are bad at all. I just, I've had that. When I say exciting, I'm like, oh wow, I've had that. I totally enjoy it, for sure.
Nice.
I have had, finally, DAV Cigars had shipped me their line. So I've only had 2 of the line. One I am going to go back to, but the one I am at liberty to talk about is the DAV Prima Natural Robusto. So if you go to DAV Cigars, that's the one with the green label. That's if you want to Joeify the cigars. Go to the green label. It's great, right? This has a Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. Binder is from Indonesia, and the filler is from the Dominican Republic. It's available in a Fumacorta that is a 4x60. It's available in a Robusto 5x50. I had that size. Short Robusto 4.5x52. Robusto Gordo 5x52. I had that size. Churchill 7x50 and Presidente, which is 6x60. I don't know how these would taste with the bigger ring gauges. It's the same argument there. I really think that the flavor's in the smaller stuff, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse with that. However, when I'm smoking this smoke, unlike the first one that I tried, and I'm going to review the first one that I tried next week, so I'm going to go back to this one next week to make reference to the one that I'm making through this week. Does that make sense? I'm going to go that way and then that way and then that way, all right? So unlike the first one I tried, it really like stopped me, and I was like, wow, like, okay, what's going on in here, right? Balanced well. I got a little bit of a cedar taste, but it did have like a zestiness to it, like a freshness from the amount of smoke. What I did notice that when you're taking on an inhale, and keep in mind, most of my stuff is usually bullet cut anyway, so I did bullet cut it. I got a lot of smoke on the palate, so it's like, wow, if you were to guillotine this thing, I don't know what your experience. Like you get a lot of smoke on the palate, which some people like, some people don't like. I don't like or dislike. I'm just making an observation. Yeah. From that, you get a spicy aroma because obviously it's producing a lot of smoke, right? But I don't know. I get like a little bit of zest in there, some sweetness towards the end, and towards the end, man, I don't know if it's the bullet cut. Because, from maybe the tar buildup and whatnot towards the end. But I'm starting to get a leather component. I would imagine that if I guillotine cut that, or straight cut for the newest Stogie Geeks listeners, I probably wouldn't have picked up that component. What I did notice that is what I smoked from it, all of the nuances of that stick was subtle. Nothing was ever in your face for me. It was just subtle. It wasn't bad subtle. It was just subtle. So it's like, I had to really slow down my smoking to really try to see what the cigar was trying to do. I would give it it's got a good price point there, and I would give it a solid box split for sure.
Yeah. That zest that comes in on that cigar. I've had that cigar. I haven't got to the rating part of it, or reviewing part for me, but that zest part, I was trying to put my finger on that, and it was is it a lemon zest? Is it an orange zest? Is it? I mean, that Indonesian butter that's in there definitely kicks off that zest. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
palate, and I know I was going to say, and I guillotine cut my cigars most of the time.
Yep.
I went from a V cutter to a guillotine just because I got this new toy, so I've been playing with it and see how well it stays together.
Yeah, I have a Zycar in my little handy dandy cigar caddy travel whatever. I have a Zycar cutter. Yeah, never use guillotine. Never use it. I use my friggin' $2 friggin' bullet cut thing, and I don't know. I'm a label peeler, bullet cutting, guitar picking smoker. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah. But
I agree with that on that as a box split. But yeah, it's a great. Like I said, I'm in my third one now.
Yep.
And I'm gonna give it a couple more just to really give it, see where it lands for me on my palate.
In regards to strength, just final note. It does bear on the medium side. I'm sorry, on the mild side for sure. So it's just a mild cigar. So if you come across them and you seek them out, you check them out. DAV Cigars. Give it a box split. Super cool. If I were to rate the other one, like if I were to rate them in the same episode, the other one would not be as high. But I want to figure out what it was. I think it was the size. Because I had a bigger size. And then this one in specific, I went to the Robusto and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. But, there you go.
Yeah. Gotcha. So my next stick, I'm going to talk about an oldie, Romeo and Juliet. I haven't really endeavored in these too much, but I got it as a gift. Somebody bought me a box, so I'm like, hey, I'm not going to turn it down.
They
I'm
bought
not
you
gonna
a
let 'em
box
waste.
of bullies. They must. I love Romeo and Juliet at bullies.
Yeah.
Who got you a box of bullies? Someone
yeah.
you know, like someone close to you, or someone in the industry? How'd that happen?
No, one of my members, one of our lounge members, through it was just kind of like a congratulations, Stogie Geeks and other event I'm on. So they asked me to try, to endeavor into the classics.
Yep.
So here I am. So yeah, I got the 1875 Bully Robusto 5x5. It's a $6 stick. I mean, all day long. I mean,
that's an OG stick, man. That's like 20 years ago, man. Rocking that stick, like straight up, like rocking that stick all the time.
And that's what this client or this lounge member told me. It was like, you guys been talking about classic taste, things of that nature. Let me, here. I want you to have this box and I want you to enjoy it. So, yeah, Dominican Republic, wrapper's Indonesian. And the binder Dominican and filler Dominican. So this cigar again, I mean, nice cigar, nice presentation. Not too. It wasn't too coarse, and it had a little bit of veininess to it. But you could tell that they've been sitting a while too, because the little oil on the body of the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got this baby fired up and got it toasted and got it fired up. The leatherness and the nutty started to come through really nice. I mean, just really nice. And, I haven't gone, really into the classics cigars, but man, I mean, as I'm smoking the cigar and I've smoked about 9 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 9 of them down.
Yeah.
And yeah, this thing is just really like, I really love it. I mean, it's really a good cigar. Earthy, leather, came through, a little bit of cedar, for sure. On the cigar, and that cedar is there, throughout the cigar. Yep. So it's really to have that there. A little bit of sweet grass on the second half, and on the retro, God, the cigar really gives you that experience of pepper, for sure, but not. I want to call it like almost like a kind of a white pepper border in the white pepper, or more or less. So it wasn't like really, like hitting me hard on the red, but it was definitely was there. On the last third, the pepper returns a little bit more prevalent, and then a sweet spice was as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave this cigar a Stogie Geeks rating of by 1, because again, I mean, a lot of people, when I talk to people about the cigar, that are cigar smokers, they're like, oh wow, I haven't that in years, and I remember it as I remember it as a great cigar, and then a lot of, as far as the bully, but yeah, $6. I mean, you can't go wrong, and this thing is very nice constructed, nice easy burn. Smoke was there. I mean, definitely smoke is there as you're drawing. When you put it down, it doesn't smoke as much, but when you draw, it does give smoky, airy.
Yeah. You gave it a try one? You gave it a try one?
I gave it a try one. Yeah. Really? I mean, I don't know. A lot of these people that I talk to, a lot of them are into the boutiques, and a lot of them are into the. I tell them, I tell them, I say, you know what? Try this cigar, and I guarantee you, buying a box yourself, they're not bad. I mean, price point is awesome on these, and you can pick them up pretty much anywhere. I mean, I went online, checked them out here in Texas. Of course, online you can pick them up for sure. But yeah, if you walk into some of the retailers out here, they're not always there.
Yeah.
So definitely go out and search for it. Try one, and then from there you'll be hooked.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, other than the rating. But then again, that's why they're Drew sticks and not Joe sticks, right? The bully, the bully is definitely an OG stick, no question, right? And you bring up a extremely valid point. Try going to a local retailer and finding one of these, right? You could literally drive all day and not be able to find one, right? You wouldn't be able to find one because it's that old and that classic of a stick. When I saw it come through as your sticks of the week, I was like, wow. It was like one of those things, like even when I was reviewing the list, like we discussed on our first segment, I'm like, oh man, like totally forgot about that cigar. Like, wow. Like, because as consumers, we walk into a humidor, 100 face-ins, 60 face-ins, 400, whatever, depending on whatever your shop is. You go online, 1,000-something face-ins. The market's flooded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The market's flooded, and it probably sales-wise does phenomenal still. It's just at the retail level, them maybe like us, they focus on a lot of what's new. And one thing, when was it? It wasn't last Friday. It was the Friday before. No. Yeah, because I had medicine head last Friday, right? So no. 2 Fridays ago. Yeah, it was the last show.
2 Fridays.
Yeah, that's right. Because we didn't do Stogies last week. All right, yeah. So we didn't do Stogies last week. So last Friday, I scooted out because we didn't do Stogie Geeks. So I scooted out of work, went to a local retailer, and a gentleman from California just happened to be in the retail shop, and like meeting strangers in the cigar shop, we start smoking, and he starts telling me, and the owner's, he's like, oh, do you know anything about cigars? He's like, oh, we'll just ask Joe. So I was just BSing with him and getting to know what he liked, and he wanted a Dominican cigar. And I went into the smoke shop, right? He's like, you have anything like Dominican? The Dominican, he's like, I'm not into this new phase of these boutiques. And I was like, sure. And he was an older gentleman. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I said, well, let's take a walk in the humidor. I look in the humidor and I'm like, he has like freaking 80% Nicaraguan origin cigars in this place. You know what I mean? And so, it's testament that the shop owner is going to put it there what sells and what goes through and what people are asking for. And again, they're not, and it's a testament. So I'm glad you brought that up, that, because it relates to my story of last week when I just met a complete stranger and I could not find a cigar to meet his profile. So I gave him a Charter Oak. Told him it's a little stronger. Right. It's a little stronger than a Dominican. You'll love it. You know what I mean? And he actually ended up enjoying it. But again, it was a testament of proving the point that some of those old school Dominican stuff are just not around. And you take Romeo and Julieta, like Romeo and Julieta, in my opinion, had subsided. Not completely fell off, but subsided on the retail side when they tried to do that Nicaraguan Romeo and Julieta, and it didn't go. It didn't work for them. You know what I mean? Again, which is a testament of the boutiques. Most of the stuff that we review here, and even if you take our reviews, they have a Nicaraguan component in them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's something that we should pay attention to here if we're getting sticks. You know what I mean? If we have a chance to review something that's not Nicaraguan, we might want to bump it up to the top of the list. You know?
Yeah, I got some friends that are 10 years older than I am, a decade older than I am. I'm 50, and these guys are in their 60s, and they're bringing me stuff that I haven't. I mean, I've seen it, I've heard about it, and they're bringing me things to try and to expand my classical cigar facings for sure. Yeah. And so I got good good friends here that are doing that. And a lot of them were telling me that they're like, I don't find them here in Dallas, North Dallas, or any of the cigar shops here. You'll find these on the outlying where we live at, and some of these guys live 40, 50 miles out of the Dallas metropolitan area. Yeah. And so, a smaller, cigar shop and a smaller population town, they still got the old Indian, wooden Indian sitting out in the front of the store. Nice. And it's a real one. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That's one thing I do miss.
Enjoy that venture for sure.
Yeah, bringing up the point of what I miss about the industry in our first segment when we were talking with Dan Davison. That's one of the things I miss about the industry, and one of the things that I'd like to see more of in the future, to bring some of that stuff back. You know what I mean? We were talking
the nostalgia.
Well, we were talking about Drew Estate in the beginning of the segment, or during the segment, the beginning part of the segment with Dan, and you know, like Drew carried that old school feel in the roots. And I'm not saying we need to get back to our roots and every shop needs to have a wooden Indian in front of it, but like, I don't know, like
right.
I was talking today. I went next door to get my Bloody Mary for the first segment, and I ran into an old customer who was at another shop that we used to go to. And you know, he was talking about today is the anniversary of his dad's of his dad passing, and I you know, gave him a hug, you know, talked to him, and you know, I was like, you know, I remember having a cigar with his dad and all that stuff, and Saturday we're coming up on the anniversary of my father, and you know, it's like one of those things where he's like. Now remember, they got. We're sitting in a cigar shop. It's got Keno. I don't know if you have Keno where you guys are. It's a lottery thing, right? It's like you could pick the numbers and whatnot. They got Keno. You got politics on, sports. All the you got TVs. All it's a freaking sports bar. And then he's like, you remember when we used to sit down in a cigar shop and it had a carpet and we were sitting on like bar stools or milk crates. And just hanging and smoking for hours, and all we had was like a transistor radio. And I was like, man, I miss those days. Like, I miss those days of talking to someone. Like, I was at an event last night, and like I'm talking to someone, and these are guys who the super cool guys, right? Anthony and Aaron, they used to follow me on Cigar Club Radio. They used to like it when I was on the radio better than Stogie Geeks. They say it was more convenient for them to listen to me. I don't know how it could be more convenient than other than a podcast. But anyway, right? You know, and I'm talking to them, and like they're like talking to me like this, like almost like I'm talking to you now, like watching TV. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. It's like freaking turn that shit off, bro. You're talking to me, you know. But anyway, all right.
Like this with their devices,
Well, I'm like that. I'm like that when I got my little daycare app over here. You know what I mean? I'm waiting for, you know, every time the phone vibrates, I'm like one of those things when they do a camera shot, make sure that my son's being good. You know. But
I remember back in the day when I used to go with my dad to like some of the local. In LA or in Los Angeles where I grew up at.
Yep.
There was my dad had some great cars. We owned a liquor and deli store in Orange County, and then we would just like at night he would like pick me up and we would drive to his old Irish pub hangout. And in there, I mean, these guys were smoking these big cigars. Well, back then when I was about 12, it was a huge cigar, and like you said, I mean, carpet, you know, vinyl seats, and just this big glass ashtrays, and they had the small box, you know, up in the corner, and but these guys would sit around and enjoy their smokes for sure. And there was the old cigarette, you know, down the hallway to the bathroom. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely missed those days. There, that's one thing I'd like to see back is one of the craziest shops I've been to, and spent a lot of time at in Dedham, Massachusetts. It was called Courthouse Cigars. It was on Main Street in Dedham, and when it's small, tiny place. I mean, 600 square feet, maybe 800 square feet. Yeah. You know, humidor. Yeah. You walked in, you had all humidor. So it was like you walked in. It was an old building, so you had a humidor on the row, and then humidor there. And then in there, he had a snifter of whatever was there. It was BYOB, but it was a snifter. And a couple of glasses in the back room. And it was a snifter on a table, like a high-top stand table. And that was it, with no seats. And you'd have 30 guys there on a Saturday for 4 hours just hanging and BSing and the class. Yeah, he was into classic tunes in cars. So, you know, you had like old school, either Sinatra or some 50 style something over there just hanging. And people would bring their classic cars because it was on Main Street in Dedham. So they line them up and hang. And it's like we've had like best times over there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Super cool. Yeah. All right, Sticks of the Week. That's why I vented enough about the industry. I've had the Arturo Fuente Rosado 858.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I cannot say enough about this stick. This stick was I've known this stick existed. This stick and what piqued my interest and stemmed my interest getting back into this stick was when I went on a security conference with Paul Asadorian it was August, and we had these. And that's when, if you go back on the Stogie Geeks talking about the back room episode, when, you know, we wanted them and we missed it by a week, but then when they started seeing us hanging and drinking, oh, they found the box, you know what I mean, type thing.
Yeah.
I finally had it. I finally had it to rekindle. It was the Arturo Fluente Sun-Grown Rosado 858 2018 edition. Its size is a 6 1/4 by 47. Your wrapper is Ecuadorian sun-grown. Binder is non-disclosed. Fillers from the Dominican Republic. Hey, we have a Dominican Republic cigar. Awesome, right? That was not intended for me to say what I said because I was introducing. That just worked out that way.
Right.
You know, I've box worthy. Like, nothing to say but box worthy. Find a box, get a box, save a box, keep a box if you're a keeper. Smoke 10 in a row. Or, you know, smoke them in a row. They're available in 20-count boxes. Smoke 20 in a row. Whatever you got to do. I've actually put an APB out locally for the cigar shops here, and I says I want a box, and I'm getting calls, and I'll be getting a couple of boxes in to fill the humidor.
I've got a box.
Yeah.
Just a box.
Just a box. Yeah.
Somebody
just a box.
Somebody found this box.
Oh, I got
Yeah, just a box.
You're right. Gotcha.
Yeah. And when you find these cigars, you just load those cigars into this box. It's I like the box. It's beautiful. I put it on my mantle, so I like it. And that's but they were telling me, when you find these cigars, just put them in there. That'll be that special cigar for that box. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's no question. This, I mean, what can I say? You're gonna get a sweetness. You're gonna get a little bit of earth from that sun-grown. You're going to get towards, as you first start, you get a sweetness, you get a tobacco combo, sure. And then as you start smoking it, you're going to get like a little bit of that saltiness coming through. Cedar, that I think is a really strong component from a Dominican cigar. You know, you kind of get that classic tobacco cedar. Got a little bit of saltiness towards the end. I mean, I nubbed this thing and did not want this thing to end at all.
Right.
You know, I was told to save it for full reference for when Paul's back on the show and we're going to do a taste test. Well, that didn't happen. So
Right.
I was like,
Because you can't wait.
I can't wait. I was like, and the funny thing is, I've been staring at this thing since August. So the fact that I waited, I think we went in like August 6th or something like that. I don't remember the day. It was the beginning of August. So the fact that I waited all of August, all of September, and all of October, I was like, I'm not waiting no more. And that's the way it goes. And I had it. You got a little bit of espresso, some cocoa, toast. It's just an amazing, amazing stick. Go out there and get them. Box worthy all day long. Yeah, that was just to recap for those of you who are listening, so you don't gotta listen to my rant and then say, what stick was he talking about? Because that scatterbrain person is giving a thing. So Arturo Fluente 858 Rosado Sun-Grown. Get some if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Ship some. The 24 Quaker Lane Unit G. Attention, Joe Hozempa. Warwick, Rhode Island, 02886. There you go. Go ahead. What's the next stick?
There you go. And when you ship some to him, make sure you put my name on at least 2 of those, please.
There you go.
Get in on some of this game.
They'll probably be like, Joe, what's Drew's email again? So I can email him the sticks. I like him better.
So my next stick, I went into the Drew Estate Undercrown Shady 20, box press Bellicoso. It's $11 stick.
Yep.
And beneath a deep, I got this from their site, beneath the deep dark Mexican San Andreas wrapper. San Andreas wrapper lies a Connecticut Habano binder and fillers from Nicaragua and Brazil. This was a 5x50 box press Bellicoso, and it does bring a full body.
Yes.
Nicaraguan, Sandra wrapper, binder Habano, and filler Brazilian Nicaraguan. So, yeah, this year, just the bands. Looking at the stick, it's a beautiful looking stick, and a little oil, a little sheen to it.
Yes.
It wasn't too high, and
it almost has glitter stick, on it. Like sparkles. It's one of the very few sticks. The Nat Shermans do this too. The old school Nat Shermans.
Yeah.
The Nat Sherman, Connecticut. They have a sparkle to them. Now I'm not talking like stripper sparkle, but if there were that version for a cigar, like right? Am I right or am I wrong? It sparkles.
No, you're right.
Like it sparkles in the freaking daylight. It's crazy.
Yeah. The cigar, like I said, very nice, good body, good construction. Fired the stick up, toasted the foot, got through it, and then started to hit the notes of chocolate off, right off there after my third draw. Started to hit that little notes, got into the earth and leather. This stick, it does smoke. This stick smokes. So make sure you're not in your wife's house, or and I say that because my wife goes, I can see the smoke just waffling through the air, and it's coming around the house.
It stays right.
Yeah. And she's like, well, can you go out? Can you move this garden chair further out? So this thing smokes pretty good. She wasn't that bad about it, but
I got you. But it's good that you're elaborating. I think it's great.
It's pretty good. Yeah. And then the second, third, that's when I start to do my retros on my cigars, my repertoire wait until about the second, third, just so I can start to really hone in on some of the hidden gems in there. And definitely this thing had some pepper.
Yeah.
And when I mean some pepper, it really kicked up a notch. And so for me, this stick started to really transition together in the second, third, with all those previous flavors. A little bit of espresso as well was in there. And then the pepper was very prominent in the showing after the retro for sure. This stick for me was I gave it a Stogie Geeks rating of a Bacchus. I think this is a cigar that I can share with a lot of people who are not familiar with Drew Estates, brands. They've been to his brands, but they've probably been in the Fat Bottom Betty, area. And so when I introduced this stick to a couple of my friends lately, they're like, "Oh wow, this is a graduation, from." And so a lot, like I said, a lot of pepper. It'll kick you in the gear for sure, but not to the point where it's so overpowering that you got to just kind of ease up on it. Box worthy for me. $11 stick.
Yeah. Shady in collaboration
with this stick
with the hip hop. So definitely.
Paul, is it Paul Rosenberg? Slim Shady's or Eminem's manager at the time. I think they were in cahoots together with Drew Estates to stick out there, and it's been around. But this is the 20th year anniversary of that stick.
It's 20th year of that stick?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think is it 20? It's been 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 20 years. So we were talking about that with Dan earlier about, Drew Estate sticks. Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember listening to Eminem way back then. And when you look at it now, it's like, wow. And his kids are grown up, and he's on to other things, other products and things of that nature. But you look back and go, oh my God, 20 years ago I was 29. So yeah.
That was a crazy time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Slim Shady.
Yeah. That's a record. We listen to all sorts of music here behind the scenes at Security Weekly and Stogie Geeks, and they come up classic. Oh, yeah. We can do a whole hip hop segment on Stogie Geeks, I'm sure. Johnny would have to sit down on that. He's a huge hip hop fan. One of our producers. Anyway, Yeah, how did they get that stick to sparkle is amazing. It legit sparkles. That's your Slim Shady stick over there by Drew Estate, the Undercrown Shady. And you gave it a box worthy? Was that your final?
I give it a box worthy.
Yeah.
Like I said, that cigar, you can share this with others as well, and they won't be intimidated by the cigar. It like I said, it's got the sweetness, the earthiness of it, the leather. It's got great aroma, great smoke. I know a lot of the people that I'm introducing cigars to in my circle. They want that. They see these photos of people with the smoke, and so they're like, yeah, I want to try that. And I'm like, okay, so I'll give them one of the picks to go there with, and of course, quite a few other ones.
That'll do that. That'll do that for sure.
Have that experience. Yeah, I had that experience with that. Yeah.
I had the Caldwell Blind Man's Bluff Maduro. Extremely high nicotine content on this smoke. That's if you are new to smoking, try the regular Caldwell Blind Man's Bluff before you try the Caldwell Blind Man's Bluff Maduro. In regards to wrapper, binder, filler of this stick, your wrapper is a USA, Pennsylvania Maduro. Your binder is Sumatra, and your filler is, Dominican Republic. What are you going to do? All right. I had the 5x50 size, the Robusto. This came out. It came out in April of 19, but it debuted. It was one of the sticks on the list at the IPCPR show. There, it's in regular production. It's available in 3 different sizes. You have a 5x50, you have a 6x50, and a 6x60. I could not imagine smoking the 6x60 because let me tell you something. The first thing I noticed of the stick when I lit it up, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like it's here. Like, I was like, okay. And then that first inch, I'll be honest, I really struggled to get through the nicotine content of that cigar. It was very, very strong on the palate. It took 2/3 of it to settle down. So yeah, it's just a rowdy stick. Like it's just rowdy. It's in your face. I didn't expect it to be that rowdy, coming from Dominican, right? That Pennsylvania Maduro must have really made it happen for sure. And again, most of the flavor does come from the wrapper, so that would probably be my educated guess as to that batch of the Pennsylvania Maduro that they had. But man, I mean, you had pepper and wood, and if you retrohale, don't think I've ever said this before. If you retrohale, you're gonna get chili pepper. Not red pepper, not white pepper, not subtle pepper. You're going to get chili pepper. It's just really strong. And for me and my palate, I did not enjoy it until the last 1/3 of it. So I had to get through almost half of it to get through it. You know what I mean? It just didn't settle down for me. I'm going to try a bigger size to see if because again, with that combo, with that Pennsylvania leaf there, maybe the Sumatra on the bigger size would tone it down. I won't be trying the 60 ring gauge, but I'll be doing the 5x50. Or did I have the 5x50? Yeah. Hold on. I'll be doing the the 6x50 as opposed to the 5x50, and I think it would settle down just a scotch. But those are my takeaways from the stick. That being said, I gave it a try one. I mean, if you want something strong, and if you retrohale and want chili pepper, give it a try. I can't use the new excuse like, it recently came out like in July and I've had it in August. You know what I mean? Like I've had it in late October. I'm trying to think of what date it was. Yeah, I've had it in late October. Matter of fact, it sticks out to me so much. I know I had it on a Tuesday in late October. So you can pick one of the 2 dates, and it wasn't the Halloween. It was the Tuesday before, not before Halloween, that week before on that Tuesday, whatever calendar date that was. Don't ask me how I know that, because it just sticks in my head. It's significantly different. I gave it a try one. I'm going to, like I said, have the bigger size and see if it settled down. If not, I'm going to be going on a hunt to find out what else is a Pennsylvania Maduro, because that is a strong smoke. Like, stronger on the first half, not the whole stick, but stronger on the first half than some of your double Ajeros.
Wow,
it's different.
So
it's just
the
different.
FDL the double digger, was it anything similar?
Similarity?
Or,
no. Like the double digger, I can smoke in the morning. Even on an empty stomach with the coffee and enjoy it. The double digger for you Stogie Geeks, that's the LFD. I'm only picking that because the double Lajero usually rings a bell of it could be strong. You know what I mean? For some of the newer listeners, but no, it's just strong. It's different and strong. You know? And they do well. They do well in the shop. I mean, Caldwell Blind Man's Bluff did very well in the shop, so I could see where some of those. But see, most consumers reach for that 60 ring gauge. You know what I mean? So if they reach for that 60 ring gauge, they might not get that chili. If I were to do the 60 ring gauge, like, you know, if we were doing a promo and they wanted to do that then I had it, then yeah. But you know, if I'm gonna reach for something, I'm going to reach for a Robusto or a Toro. And again, when I did, I noticed it being strong. That's all.
You definitely have to go down that hike and try that 60 ring gauge one. I know, and I'm going to tell you right now, share with you now, is that, you know, with me, like on the Neanderthal, Skip Martin's Neanderthal, you know, that one right there is like it's my favorite. I mean, you talk about strong strength. You talking about the nicotine flavor. I mean, I love that cigar, so I'm definitely gonna have to try this one. But I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try that. And you just that we're talking about now is gonna try that in that 60 ring gauge, and then work it down to that.
I would imagine it would be a little bit more subtle. It's a little firecracker as the Robusto for me. And like I ate. It's not like I had it. Like I had ate. It was in the afternoon. You know, and I had it. The shop, I had picked them up. I'm like, oh, they had a Maduro. Yeah, that's right. It got released IPCPI. You got them in. That's cool. Let me try it. You know what I mean? And you know, because I like Caldwell. You know, I like some stuff by Caldwell. I like some of their artsy rare stuff a little bit better, but than the Blind Man's Bluff. But the Blind Man's Bluff, you know, I like I said, I'd give it a try one. It's all good. That's my opinion.
Awesome.
Let me know what you think.
Man, I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna have to get me one of those.
Do you have you have Caldwell in your section, right? In your neck of the woods?
We do. Yeah. Actually, we have them in stock. I was texting real quick. He's like, "Yeah, we got those." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm gonna have to get me some of those before I leave here today.
Cool.
So my next stick got into, Joe, was the Monte Cristo Medianoche en Mundo. 5x55, $12 stick. Dominican Republic. Connecticut broadleaf, Dominican Republic binder, and then filler Dominican Republic, Nicaraguan, and Peruvian. So that right there. That just that filler. I needed to go in this stick.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Peruvian excites me. I'm dying to hear your opinion on that one.
Yeah. So that right there is why I went ahead and said, okay, I'll take. I got a friend of mine, called him up and said, let's get a box. It's like, all right. So we got a box of these. Man, you talking about a box that, trust me, the next box I go with on this one, I'm going solo. So I did give it a Stogie Geeks rating of a body, and I'll tell you why.
Of a what? Notes on of a what? You broke up there for a second. Of a what? What was the rating?
I gave it a Stogie Geeks rating of Boxworthy.
Okay, Boxworthy. Gotcha. Yep.
Because I'm not going to share these.
Really?
So I'm gonna hoard these. Yeah. Notes on this one was Coco. Man, I mean, just right off the bat. And this cigar, it's just a beautiful cigar as well. You know, nice construction, burned nice, and even all the way through. I didn't have to relight it once, twice, to go yell at the dog a little bit, and then came back and got back on it. Yeah, cocoa came through nice. The leather, nice rich aromas. I mean, this stick was hitting all the senses. I mean, from the tip of my tongue, palate, to all the way to the back side of it, you definitely can separate the little bit of saltiness, a little bit of the sweetness, and then also the rich and leather for sure. And then towards the second third of that, I started to get a little bit of coffee undertones for sure, and then I started to kick more. So I graded this one more in the espresso arena more than coffee or coffee bean. It was more on the espresso notes for me. And then again, started to get like a little bit of the nut. So again, there was a little bit of saltiness factor there, and then it turned sweet. So and so it started to go to that, and that's when I started realizing, well, that's got to be the Peruvian filler in this coming through. And just I really wanted to open one of these cigars up and just look at and dissect it and just kind of look at the filler and just kind of burn them on their own, just kind of roll them up a little bit and burn it and smoke it as they do at the factories and things like that, and just kind of go through that experience. But yeah, this stick for me, I mean, it's one of those ones where I definitely would I want to go back to and revisit, for the rest of my smoking career, for sure. But,
really, it's that.
So rating on box.
Would you give it?
Go ahead.
No, would you
box
give it?
rating?
Yeah.
Box worthy. Stogie Geeks rating again. Monte Cristo Dia Noche El Mundo, 5x55, $12 stick. Can't go wrong.
I'm so bummed that you have a super high rating of that. I came across that stick when I was traveling in South Florida, and I got a good box price, and I was like, I don't know. And I ended up going with some of the boutique stuff that I took home, and I'm bummed now. I'm super bummed. I'm gonna call them and get them to ship some up here for sure. Because for me to find that locally, forget it. You know what I mean? Like I forget.
I'll tell you, you want a box split one with me?
Yeah. Why you have access to them?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man. I can send you. I have an app. I can send you some money. Hey, look at that. Right? Look at it. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We got it. Yeah. I'm. Yeah. Let's do a box split of that. If you're going with that, yeah. Like, dude, think about what you said. I wanted to freaking Zacto knife that shit and freaking smoke it. Like, I'm like, whoa, I'm intrigued, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, he's really into that one. So. You can tell by the way you're talking about it.
Really got geeked that one.
Yeah. You geeked out. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. It's like I was talking to Noel Rojas a few weeks ago, and he was just giving me a tip, and he was just like, you really want to get into a cigar, and you find out why you like it, and he goes, dissect it, roll up the leaf, and light it up, and smoke it, and see what it is, and that'll really break up the flavors, and really hone in on what's really dominant there. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was a cool little technique that he was telling me about. So.
Actually, it's funny you bring that. I can check next door over at the Havana Cigar Club. They do a seminar. I mean, they haven't really done it in a while because they've done it a couple years in a row, and so it's kind of lost its lackluster. But Manuel and Noah has a kit from La Aurora that has you separate all the from the Preferido series, but you smoke just the wrapper, just the little. It's not smaller than a Robusto, and there's a whole kit.
Yeah.
And I probably can get my hands on one of those, and we can ship you one of those. It's a cool experience. I've actually done it. When I first started Stogie Geeks, Paul had given that to myself and one of the other co-hosts who was here to start to dissect the cigars and go through the process of doing that. In Stogie Geeks, I believe if you go back on the Stogie Geeks website, email me if you're interested. I could try to dig up the episodes where Paul and company actually go and do that. They did a whole series of that. I believe it's still on our Stogie Geeks website. And I would venture to say if you can get your hands on one of these kits and you want to go through that, email me at joeh@stogiegeeks.com. I'll see if we can get some for you, because Next Door has a great relationship with La Aurora. But then also take your own notes. And I actually, I have a black book for the year, so this would be for 2017, that year, taking notes. And then I went back on the Stogie Geeks video and reviewed my notes and their taste in notes, and it's a super cool project that you can get into. So Stogie Geeks, if you're interested in that, joeh@stogiegeeks.com. I'll do some research and find those kits for you. I know they're lingering around there. I know they don't break the bank retail wise. Comes in a thing. I believe it's called. I'm like 99.9% sure it's called Light the Legacy, and it's a whole series that they did. Now, back in the day, Havana Cigars did an event with Manuel and Noah for that, and you explained, and obviously it was the blender, so it's super cool when you're smoking the cigar, the separation of the wrapper binder filler from the different preferidos, and having him describe it. It was a great experience. I've done some of those too with Jose Blanco, who does his version of a blending seminar. It's not a bobber pole. It's just each wrapper goes up the stick, and as he talks through that, and then you have like 10 minutes. I'm making time up, 10, 15 minutes. Then you get into the next one, and next one and then he gives you soda water or something like that to cleanse your palate, and you take the blending seminar, and it's just such a cool experience. And I mean, shops locally might have done that around, and maybe they've done their work around for 2015, 16, 17, and like again, it just lost its lackluster. But I think they should bring it back.
Right.
Pick another blend. Zacto knife that shit.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I think for me, the education for all any of the cigar geeks out there, I mean, that's a cool road to go down and endeavor. And if you ever make it to South America, definitely the factories. What's good with me, you do that there as well, and so you get to sit there or speak with the blender or maybe one of his associates, and then walk you through that process. So definitely pretty cool. I'm lucky enough here that I got this gentleman here, Noel Rojas here. He's got a factory here in Texas now.
Yeah.
So he's invited us down to come there. He said to share that with you as well.
Yeah.
And he'd love to give us a look over at his place. So.
I am going to Texas is on my 2020 list to visit you. We're in the process of putting together our security weekly yearly calendar. So we're in the process of that, and in between that, I'm going down there. I'm going also to the J.C. Newman factory as well. Did you see the thing I posted on Twitter about J.C. Newman? It's all over J.C. Newman's thing where they found a staircase and they made the local news and all that thing. And I think it's fascinating. They took the sheetrock off the wall. For those of you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to J.C. Newman's social media. It's all over that, or you can follow me at Joe Hozempa over on Twitter. I retweeted that there, and it's super cool how they're going to keep the original wall of the clock tower in Ybor City, and their renovations are expected to be done by February of 2020, and nice. I'm getting out there as well. Down.
We're gonna have to Batman and Robin now. I'm gonna join you on that one.
That'll be the first time I'll physically meet you. I'm so excited then, maybe. Or if I go to
That'd be
Texas. I'm going like before I'm going before like April because like it gets cold around here and you know. I could use 40-degree weather when it's 10 over here.
Yeah, get some golfing in as well.
There you go. The final stick I want to review, and I believe you have one more, right? Yep, cool.
Yes, I do.
The final stick I want to review is the La Flora Dominicana La Volcata. Say that 10 times. La Flora Dominicana La Volcata. This is a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Ecuadorian Corojo binder, Dominican Republic filler. Well, that's weird. How I literally said something like we have to. I'm just putting this together. I'm really not making that statement. That's very weird. Maybe I subconsciously did it because of the guy. Honestly, I randomly picked sticks and said, "Let's do this." I'm having this, and I went back in my notes and that's how I do my sticks of the week. Anyway, ring gauge. I had a 7x48. It's available in 20-count boxes. It's in regular production. In regards to the sizes of this cigar, I don't know. I'm lost. It's available in that size. That's why I'm lost, because there's no other sizes. There you go. It's a 7x48 Churchill. It's got a pigtail on it. I enjoy this smoke. What I'm excited to see is that a lot of the Northeast distribution for La Flora Dominicana and a lot of that turmoil has subsided. So excited to see that shops are saying it's getting a lot easier to deal with La Flora Dominicana up here. So that's super cool.
Nice.
To see because I'm a fan of the brand. I just never collectively got into it because I just didn't feel like chasing there. But they're getting readily available and they're shipping on a consistent basis. Here in the Northeast, I don't know what that was all about, but it was a relevant problem for sure. It's a medium stick. You get a little bit of pepper. You get a little bit of a lingering on the tongue from the pepper there. If you retrohale, it's certainly a medium plus stick. There's no question there. You're going to get full flavor, some earthiness. I don't know if it's the name La Volcata and it's making me think of like, lava flowing and stuff like that. I don't know if it was great marketing. I put it up there with the Lennox for sure. It's one of those sticks, and I've always told my Lennox story Geek, so I will bear you that. But I think I've said it 6 times since Drew's been on, let alone in the past. It's up there. It's just got hints of red pepper in there, but it kind of lingers on the tongue. If you retrohale, it's definitely medium to full. If you don't, you can get away with saying it's a medium stick. But what I've noticed is that all the flavor there, that earthiness and that spiciness, it lingers on the palate. And when I mean linger on the palate, just commute-wise, I have a 45-minute commute each way to work. Stop smoking it at work. Go home. It's still on my palate. Brush my teeth. It's still on my palate. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. Like, you're like, wow, it's still there. So really strong component there. Super enjoyable stick. I've had a bunch of these for sure. And now since they're in regular, well, they've always been in regular production, but now that they're readily available here in the Northeast, I'd rate it up there with the Lennox. I would certainly be in that box split, box-worthy region. Box split with a friend there. And to me, the Artesian Bull, the La Volcata, and the, where was I going with this? The Lennox. Yeah, Artesian Bull, Lennox, and La Volcata are separate from that La Flora that classic La Flora Dominicana taste there. It's just a different taste. To me, they've upped their game in regards to the taste with those selections. There you go. So I give it a box split. That's my final rating.
Nice. I gotta get my hands on some of the. I've the Lennox we have here, and I've yet to get into that into those yet. Saving that for something, I don't know what, but I'm gonna have to get my hands on some of those and
Do it tomorrow morning.
dive into those.
Do it tomorrow
yeah.
morning. That's a better day than any other day, right?
Yep.
Or better yet, do it
I
30.
got to take Subaru down for service. I'll do that at the lounge over there.
Or do it 38 seconds after the show. That'd be my choice. 38 seconds after the show. But if you want to have patience, wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. So my last stick, I
excuse me. And before you do, make yourself an espresso if you're doing it in the morning. It pairs well. Not a coffee, an espresso.
Nice.
All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I definitely get that. I have a nice Nespresso machine, so I love that thing. So
I noticed on your pictures on social media.
Oh yeah. So I got into the Rocky Patel line, and I'll tell you, it's not that I'm not a fan of Rocky Patel. It's not that I don't, dislike it or anything. I just, when I hear the name, see the offerings he's got in here in our location, there's a lot there, but I just really gravitated towards these. So when these came in from IPCPO, Nomi said, here's a box. Take these and smoke them. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So here we go. So this thing is from their website. I got it. This stick is rolled in Honduras from a tobacco blend that includes Lajero from the Hamastron. I hope I'm saying that correct. Hamastron Valley of Honduras.
I would have butchered it.
So fillers.
I'm going with you.
and a mix of fillers from Condega and Estelle, Nicaraguan, on Mattel's farms. So origin on this cigar is Honduras, wrapper Ecuadorian Habano. It's got a Colorado Maduro look to it, color. Binder Honduras, filler Honduras, and Nicaragua. So so again, nice presentation steak. I mean, fancy looking band. I mean, it looks good, looks beautiful. The stick itself looks well constructed. I had a 6.5 by 52. So this one took me a little bit to smoke. I'm going to say about an hour and 20 minutes for me. Cause I really wanted to experience Rocky Patel's, line, in this, and it's called the LB1, which is a original factory code.
Yep.
So that's what it means, the OFC. So in Toro, as I already said, 6.5 by 2. Stick price about $9.50 here in Texas. Not sure where they're at in your region, but they're about $9.50.
Yeah, it's about that. They're in that 10 or 11. Like
yeah,
10, 50, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Stogie Geeks rating I guess was a 5. And my for anything, just try 5 of them. I mean, the cigar is nice. I mean, it's got pepper for sure. I mean, it's got that spicy component there. The earthiness comes through in the first third of it. A little bit of toasted almonds starts to graduate into toasted almonds, and then get into the coffee factor. Not an espresso, but a coffee. So a little bit on the lighter side on that. Creamy. Got into a little bit of the creaminess, the almonds. I'm thinking, though I did say toasted a few seconds ago, but I was just trying to figure out what that creamy component was, and so I attributed to an almonds there. Cedar for sure comes through on that second third, and then it just starts to really it smokes. So this cigar is another one. It does smoke quite a bit, and it's sweet. It's a sweet aroma that comes through, and then from there it just starts to finish up on the spicy side. And I wasn't sure because I was at that last third. I was like looking at the stick. I'm like, wow, I still got a way to go. And so I started to kind of what I call hot box it. I start rushing it, and I started to, and then when I noticed it getting a little bit hot, I started to slow down, just kind of put myself back in that environment of, hey, this is a review, so let me just kick it down a notch and relax and enjoy it. So I've had 4 of these sticks, and it all of it for me, the rating came back to being a 5. But yeah, definitely it's a stick for people that I think that would like the medium. It the only reason why I border full to me is a little bit of that pepperness that comes through, pretty strong there at times. But other than that, I would say it for me was a medium stick. Me.
Mm.
Have you had the chance to endeavor down? Rocky
No,
Patel's,
I'm actually I took your stick and threw it on Rocky Patel's website, and I like to follow along with you there. And a couple things that I've noticed. This is another discussion. No, we'll stick to the subject. It's part of the new. If you go to RockyPatel.com, click on new. You go to cigars. There's a section. They have their full portfolio, top-rated cigars, which usually often make the show anyway. And then their new cigars and the Liberation, the LB1 you were talking about, and the second edition is their newest line. I have not. When it comes to Rocky and me, I am a Edge Candela. I am a Edge Habano or a Decade. Just, you know what I mean? He's got a lot in his portfolio. What I'm looking here at, which is starting to pique my interest, is I'm looking at they have a Special Reserve Sun-Grown Maduro. So I'm interested in finding that one. The Rocky Patel Special Reserve Sun-Grown Maduro. I've been on the there. I've had the vintage 203 Cameroon. I'm in the top-rated section now. I'm in the top-rated section now. So, again, RockyPatel.com. Go to top-rated cigars. Obviously, number one on their list is Decade, no question. No other time in my experience, 5 years now, cigars, retail side. No other time in my experience in 25 years that there was a limitation on a cigar other than Opus X. And what I mean by that is you can only buy two when you walk in, was Opus X, any Opus X, but Opus X and Rocky Patel Decade. When it first came out, they were really limited there. So I go back to a Decade often in my rotation, for sure. Every once in a while I throw it in there for a Stogie Geeks review, at least once a year or something like that. I give it the same rating. It's solid. It's a solid rating, although its blend subsided in my opinion. I don't know if my palate developed or if the blend is going a little lesser. I like to say the blend is going a little lesser, but because I don't know, there was just something that like really threw me back when that stick first came out, as well as others, obviously, because of what has happened. That's one of those things. I wasn't even at Cigar Club Radio or Stogie Geeks at that time reviewing sticks. There at that time, I used to sit with the shop owner, which is obvious that I had a little bit of Stogie geeking in me, for sure. Is I used to sit with the shop owner of different shops and tell them what I like and what I don't like, and we'd have conversations just like this back and forth. I was mispronouncing names then. They were correcting me then, right? There. You'd think after 25 years I would, be able to pronounce that, but as long as I can pronounce Corojo and Araparaca, I'm good, right? I think, for sure. But I go for it. There. But the Decade there. I've had the 15th anniversary. I've never had the 50. I'm interested in the Sun-Grown. I've had the Royale. I've had the Edge Habano. That's top rated. I've had the vintage Cameroon.
Edge Habano. Edge Habano. A couple of lounge members here have told me get into those for sure. They called the cod, but they're talking about Decade for sure. So I'm going to get into some of those because I've already got some of the humidor for some of my sticks of the morning, to post those. But
it's a phenomenal stick in the morning. Like it's a phenomenal stick anytime. But the Rocky Patel Decade is awesome.
Yeah, I was. I think for me, like anytime I go to any brick and mortar shop, I see the Java. And I see Rocky Patel, and it's weird because it's like I'm not sure if that's if that's like, are they categorizing as a sweet, aromatic, and I've been to 10 brick and mortars in the last few weeks, and I've noticed that. And I'm like, and I think that's why, like I was telling you here, I was like, you know what, maybe we should break these up a little bit and move them over here. Because I think as a consumer, for me, that's probably why I shied away from it. Because I think, Nub is very, the Javas, from those are all flavored. So I guess I was thinking that those were that as well. But I've been wrong as my.
No, that's a good point for a future episode for sure. And I think next time we get a retailer on, we might want to make a show note of asking them, how do you organize your humidor? You know what I mean? Because I've spoken to, and I could go off for another half hour on this. I've spoken to retail shops about organize and how do they organize the humidor and whatnot. And some have a method to their madness, some don't. Some just place them all remotely close together. Others are playing Tetris. When they get like 6 new lines and they want to put them all in a row, so then they're playing Tetris with the other ones and moving it up. So like the Rocky Patel could be vertical, and then maybe the Podomo is horizontal, and there's really no they some play Tetris, you know what I mean? Some don't, and others do have a methodology. So that's a good question. We should consider that for sure.
Yeah, that's what Nomi was telling me about. That he goes, I have to do that because of the shelf talkers. All these, a lot of these cigars, they come with shelf talkers now. So you give out, this immediate information. So because so that's just where they fit at the time.
I go to a shop that has shelf talk. I go to a shop that has shelf talkers on like 4 boxes, right? And the rest of those, and those are because those are the partners that really help him. Like, if he's doing an event for charity, or someone calls and wants to do a golf tournament, or he's doing a pig roast and whatever. Like the reps or the manufacturers that help him accomplish whatever fundraising goal or whatever he's trying to do, right? They have some companies that are willing to help and some that are not. The ones that help are in the bag. The ones that don't are on the shelf. Got it, all right? And you know what he does with the rest of the shelf talkers? He keeps them on all the way at the end of the bar, like a stack of shelf talkers. So it's like if people ask him, he's like, I don't know, it's a shelf talk. I was like, dude, that is awesome. That is a way to go. It's a way to go. Like, you know what I mean? The ones that help me are the ones that get the shelf talkers, because the shelf talkers, some of them can get in the way. They can go over the box and cut over into the side of the other box, and it can get kind of crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I noticed, and I kind of chuckled on the Rocky Patel website. I have to bring this up. Like, this is I cannot bring this up. They have, if you go to RockyPatel.com, they have a list of unauthorized retailers who are selling Rocky Patel. And dude, this is awesome. This is a conversation. I am reaching out to Rocky Patel, and I want an answer. I think this is amazing that this is even like unauthorized. And then when you click on it, right, I was like, this has got to be like some kind of like a joke or something like that, right? So when you go to unauthorized retailers, it says, warning, please be advised, the website retailers listed below are not authorized to carry Rocky Patel or accessories, and then it lists them out. I'm so intrigued. I am completely intrigued to find out what the heck that's all about. I mean, I know what it's all about, but like, how long has that been on there? And that is, I think, business wise, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, now that I'm reading it right now, I'm like unauthorized retailers warning.
Right. I'm like, and it's funny thing, as you were talking about it, and I was looking up your stick on the website, I kind of chuckled on that. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. That's crazy. So I just thought it was kind of cool. So anyway, Stogie Geeks listeners,
brand and consistency.
Well, I mean, he is very good at branding. Does a lot for the industry. Rocky Patel, the company, is not his first rodeo. And if you do a little bit of a history on that, he launched a stick, and it didn't obviously do as well as Rocky Patel. And then now he's in all publications, doing all things, and he's been on mainstream media as well, with articles on FDA and stuff like that. And then even like the money show, like MSNBC that does stocks and whatnot, actually they had a series of different companies, and he was one of the features for premium cigars, and talked about that.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
It's like business owners who started something and it didn't go so hot and then became hot. It was like that series that they did, and Rocky Patel was one of the regulars on the rotation. It's a fascinating episode. You know what I mean? I think it's super cool that the premium cigars. That's so crazy. You know what I mean? That's on. Anyway. I want to remind the Stogie Geeks listeners that we keep the conversation going all week long. We can do that on Facebook.com/Stogie Geeks. Don't forget, you can also email Drew at StogieGeeks.com, or me, Joe H. at StogieGeeks.com. If you missed any podcast, make sure you go to the website, and you can be able to catch up on that. Drew, anything else you want to say as I take us out?
No, we're good. Everybody a week, and we'll see you
see you next week for sure. Absolutely. I want to remind you that behind every cigar there's a story worth knowing. Get out there and shop local and visit your local shops. And also, everything is bigger in Texas except for the internet. Stogie Geeks. We will see you next time.